My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And all of us are back again, baby, for the first Drama Gems of 2023, baby.
My first
Hey-yo.
Drama Gems.
Hey-yo. Yes, it's Jessie's first Drama Gem. So we just started, okay. This is not a long-running season. This is only the second episode of Drama Gems. We just made it up in December. So basically, here's the concept of Drama Gems, okay, is that we know that there's a lot of people who listen to us who are newer to dramas. So they may have watched some of like the dramas from the last, 2 years, 3 years or so, but might be unfamiliar with some older dramas. And on the flip side, there might be some dramas that people have been watching a little longer than that may not have watched because they're, older and they predate when you started watching dramas. So we're just, bringing up either dramas that are of an older variety that perhaps you've been putting off watching that we think perhaps you should put the eyeballs on, as it were. Or, maybe dramas that have slipped by people's notice that, hey, you might like, So
it's a way for us to talk about ones that we like, even though they're not, like, recent.
Yeah. Because, I get, the recent ones, everyone's seen them, wants to talk about them, but sometimes
the old ones can be good,
old
too.
Ones, there's some gems out there, some hidden gems. Yeah, we had I think in the first inaugural Drama Gems, we were like, does this title work? Are we just stupid? No, we like it now. We've leaned into it.
It works with the color scheme now for this year for our graphics, because gems are like
purples and deep blues. Yeah. I hope everyone's enjoying the new graphics for the year. Every year we switch it up. Anyway, so we're going to get started, and we each have dramas from different years, and we've chosen to do them in order of release date, so earliest to most recent, which unfortunately means you're going to listen to me talk a little bit more because my drama was the earliest from 2011.
I'll also say this at the beginning. So we're all going to do one pick, but we're also going to put our second picks over on our Patreon too. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode, of course, but just mention it at the front. We will actually also be having second picks over there.
Bookend it, a little special Patreon exclusive. So if you're unaware, on our Discord and our Twitter and Instagram, we're doing a thing called 12 for 12. Challenge, where it's like watching 12 dramas from the last 12 years, one a month, to watch some of the older ones that you may not have gotten around to. And I watched a drama from 2011 that I wish I had watched earlier because I loved it, and I want to tell you all about it.
Well, this means it's like the challenge is working. Like
the challenge has delivered a gem to me.
Already a glowing recommendation for the challenge.
That I want to recommend to other people. So, I'm going to be honest, the title was probably the reason why I didn't watch it before now. Because the title of it is a little misleading for what you're going to get in it. So the title,
and isn't there an English movie?
Yes, there is also an American movie
with the same title.
Yeah, with the same title, I think. I've never seen it, but anyway, it's called Scent of a Woman. Creepy title. I'ma be real. Ignore the creepy title because I was expecting peak 2011 and was not given peak 2011. So, yes, the basic plot is you meet Sad Sack Lee Yun Jae, played by Kim Sana, who you may recognize as the titular Sad Sack in My Lovely Sam Soon. And so I was initially like, oh no. Luckily, no one seems to like, comment on her sadness.
Everybody
like,
seems to agree that she's
like everyone's
pretty,
just like, okay, yeah. No, it's like no one even like mentions it. Like it's just like she has frizzy hair and wears glasses and like baggy clothes.
Which honestly, that's realistic. People looked at
people look
in
like
real life,
that.
people don't say
like
stuff
that.
about it.
And people don't mention it because it doesn't matter. Anyway, so she works for this like travel company that like plans like inclusive tours or whatever. And she has like a douchey boss who like doesn't listen to her, and she's like, a klutz, and everything always gets blamed on her. No one ever takes her opinions, and like the really stylish girl in the office is really douchey to her for reasons. And she's like, well, I guess this is just my life. And she's been saving up for 10 years to buy a house for her and her widowed mother to live in, like dutiful daughter. So due to shenanigans, she gets into like a minor car accident and ends up at a hospital where she meets her childhood frenemy, who is like, okay, we did like a scan, and there is some concerning situations happening, and we think you need to come in for like a test. And she's like, I don't know, it's not going to be that serious, right? Oh, it's that serious, because my girl very quickly finds out that she has late stage gallbladder cancer and has 6 months to live. And then she's like, well, you know what? Fuck this. Like, fuck it. So then she gets blamed for like this fuck up at work that she didn't do, where like a ring goes missing from like a big important client, and they're like, you stole it. And she's like, I didn't fucking steal the ring. I'm not a thief. So she gets slapped by like this new lady boss who comes in. She's like, I fucking had it with you people. I quit. So she quits, and she takes this amazing vacation by herself to Japan, where she runs into one of the directors of her old company, played by the one, the only Lee Dong-wook. That's right. Wookie's in this. Now, I was when I saw him, I was prepared as a watcher watching a drama in 2011 with a handsome, rich character to be like, okay, he's gonna be a piece of shit. Because we have seen enough dramas between the years 2010 and 2014 with handsome rich dudes that are just like the worst, but somehow you're supposed to be like, yeah, that's who we want as a male. No, when I tell you he's a nice guy, I was shooketh to my core. I was like, wait a second. He's not a douche? Like, he's not a piece of shit? He's just like a nice guy whose dad sucks? What? So obviously they have this like not quite romance in Japan, and then they have to go home because guess who he's engaged to? The lady from work who slapped her. Oh, but like not like it's not like a real engagement. It's like their parents are making them get married.
Business engagement.
Rich people marrying rich people.
Rich people marrying. Anyway, there's also she then decides that she's going to, before she dies, she has not told anyone she's dying, so the only one who knows is her doctor/friend. That's it. He's the only one who knows. She's decided she's going to do her bucket list, and she wants to and so then she starts taking tango lessons, and there's some sensual tango content for all of you sensual tango aficionados out there. And then
very niche group.
Listen, I did not know. I did not know that I was a member of the sensual niche tango group, but apparently I am. And then just, go a disturbingly long time without telling anyone what's wrong with her. So everyone thinks she's crazy because she's just like, I quit my job and I'm not looking for another one and I'm just spending all my money and sending my mom on a vacation and joining a tango club and doing, and anyway, it's so good. Like, I was eyes to screen the entire time. I was losing my mind with how much I enjoyed this drama, which, like, since it is the first of the 12 for 12 challenge, this either bodes really well or really poorly for the other ones I picked. Like, I don't know if it can go up from here is the problem, because
I mean, that's some really good cast that.
Yeah, the cast is really good. It also has like Ki-jun as, see, he got to play, her doctor friend got to be the douchebag who underneath is slightly less of a douchebag. But he has an actual, like, his character has a growth arc where he starts as like this dickhead doctor that like nobody likes, even at work, and all his patients think that he's just a douche. To the end, like, the magic of friendship like makes him a better doctor. Like, it's, and then you have like, you know, So-hyo Rim, who playing like the evil lady character, but even she has depth. She's God, she plays like the sister in Beautiful Gongshim. She's in like a lot. She's like, you look at her face and you're like, oh yeah. And she made like a good career out of, you know, being kind of mean, looking like a rich, mean young lady. But you know the role.
I just looked at the screenwriter and
yes. Okay, I'm getting to that. I checked it out before I started watching the screenwriter, and I was initially slightly worried because she did write 100 Days My Prince.
Envoys.
Now, so were you just waiting for envoys to come in and just derail everything?
Listen, them envoys, ooh. There was
envoys.
And she also did another with the director. She did another show with the director as well, My Lovely Girl, which I did watch as well, which was fine. But this is definitely my favorite of the three of hers that I've watched. Let's just say that she was on point with Scent of a Woman.
All right.
And where did you watch it from?
It was on Cocoa and it's on Viki.
I think when I looked on MDL, it looks like it might be on YouTube too, possibly.
Possibly. Right. It's like these older dramas, they don't really hold on tight to them. Like some of the newer ones. But it is on Viki and it is on Cocoa. And it made me feel nice while watching it. And it was really good. And I do enjoy a good tragic cancer it's not my first foray into the woman receives horrible diagnosis in first episode K-drama world.
It's also not the only one in K-drama world.
Yeah, no, it's not an uncommon plot. Now I will say, so under genres, it has comedy listed first. It's not funny. Like, it's not a comedy at all. So I feel like that would be very misleading to someone expecting a rom-com and then getting definitely a mellow like.
Right.
I do enjoy that on my drama list. The first genre listed is comedy, and then the first tag is terminal illness. That's comedic to me, but not terminal illness, but those juxtaposition of those. Oh Jesus, I'm digging a hole. Look at me, just digging it away. But no, it's really great. 16 episodes. They're like, you know, the standard 60-minute episodes. So good. It's so good. I loved it. I'm over the moon. And Lee Dong-wook, So good.
Always.
So
really
good.
can't go wrong with him. I mean,
No. Like, I feel like people are really mean about him for no damn reason, like they are to every actor in history.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like he can't, like, fuck you. This guy's, you clearly haven't seen this drama. He goes through a gamut of emotions in this one. Ugh. A little bit, there's a slow, it's like the romance is slow burn, like everything.
Yeah, you can also tell Natalia like just finished this drama.
Yeah, no, I've literally finished it this afternoon, and we're recording at 8 p.m. and I finished. I was gonna talk about a different drama. Okay, I was gonna talk about Cruel City, my friends, but this drama was like, no. Put the drug kings aside. Okay. we've sent to a woman to talk about. So yeah, if you're doing our 12 for 12 challenge and are struggling to pick a 2011 one,
there you go.
This might be an option for you. Amanda, I gather from talking before we started recording, there might be something a little in common with my drama.
Yes.
With your drama.
I picked the 2012 drama Wild Romance, which also stars Lee Dong-wook. Sporting some of the douchiest facial hair you will ever see. Like,
he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that in Scent of a Woman. Very clean shaven in this.
I mean, it goes, because you know what Natalia was saying about douchey male leads who kind of grow it? Yeah, he's a douche. So, it's a sort of a sports drama, not really, because they don't really go into the sports much, but he is a professional baseball player. And basically, he plays for the Red Dreamers. And one day, the lead in this is Lee Si-young. She's playing a bodyguard. We know she's very famous for her action-y roles.
Yes.
So she's out at like karaoke or the bar or something one night, and she's a big fan of the Blue Seagulls baseball team, and she gets drunk and she sees him, and he's the reason why her team like missed its shot at the playoffs or whatever, and she like they basically get into a fist fight. So I will say this for this drama, it kind of comes with a sort of a trigger warning for like almost like domestic abuse. In the first couple episodes, these two have actual fist fights. Like they beat the crap out of each other, and it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable to watch. So if that's a deal breaker for you, this is not a drama for you. But like after episode 2, that goes away. Like they don't keep on beating each other up for, you know, it's just they do not get along. Like when we're saying enemies to lovers, like they really don't.
Big E enemies. Big E.
So,
it's not as if they just sass each other.
No. Like the fight that I remember, that's sort of the big one. Like this is the one that's kind of the catalyst that starts things, because it gets filmed, and then to save his reputation, what they do is they hire her as his bodyguard so that they can say, no, she was training him. It was an exercise in like, what would you do if somebody were to attack you in the bar kind of thing, right? And so that people don't think he's a terrible human being who gets into fistfights with women in the bar. But he is a terrible person who does these things. But then the next time that they get into a fight, his best friend is a woman who suffers from bipolar disorder, I believe. It's been a long time since I watched it, so I'm trying to remember all the details. But she's an artist, and she suffers from these things, and he really looks out for her. And I believe she's married, and the bodyguard character kind of thinks that there's more going on there, that he's like having an affair with this woman, even though he's like really tight with her husband as well and stuff. And he gets so angry at her, just she won't believe him. Like she has decided, okay, so you're the kind of guy that has sex with his best friend's wife. And he just loses it, and they get into a huge fight, like very physical fight, and it's very uncomfortable. But after that, it's sort of like they get it out of their system and like things move up from there and stop getting so physical between them. So so that's nice. But then there's also like, this is very, very classic K-drama rom-com. Like, there's a secret serial killer. There's a
getting it all.
That's kind of the, initially it's like, oh, he doesn't really need a bodyguard. Why do I need to? And then he's getting these internet trolling stuff going on, and then things happen. There's like, when it gets bad. Like, people die. So like, it's I just remember really, really enjoying it. She's got a best friend who is independently wealthy. Her parents died when she was like 18 and had a good insurance policy. So she bought a house and she filled it full of books. She likes to read. And I remember, one of the things I remember about this drama when I watched it was I was watching it with another friend. We were tandemly watching it, but she was watching it on Drama Fever and I was watching it on Viki. And this was the first time when I realized that like subs could be wildly different, because she was getting so angry. Why do they keep saying she's unemployed? Everybody keeps calling this best friend an unemployed loser. And she's a writer. That is not an unemployed job. Like that's a real job. She's a writer. She writes books. And I was like, what are you talking about? She doesn't write books. She has no job. Yes, she does. She's an author. And I'm like, no, she's a reader. That's literally when she tells people that, what's your job? She's like, I read for a living.
She's
like,
a woman of leisure.
Yeah.
Okay? That's her job.
That she
we all want that job.
Yeah. No, I'm perfect.
That
yes,
she's not an unemployed loser. She's living the dream. How does it feel to live our dream? Yeah,
exactly.
Seriously.
So it's and she's got, the best friend's got like a romance too with a guy in it, and I remember there being a scene where she like, because she's read in a romance novel about the like sexiness of the swish of like undoing the knot on the
gat.
Yeah, like on the traditional Korean, how they tie it, right? And so she comes to meet him on a date wearing this like whole Korean like outfit, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I read about how sexy the sound of it getting undone is, and so I want to see if it's true. And he's like, this is crazy. And then she pulls it and he goes, that is sexy, let's go.
She's like, oh wait, you're right. Like,
so it's a fun drama.
Let me tell you, if people don't realize this, like, earlier dramas were a lot more risque than some of the modern ones.
All like the stipulations that they have to do, especially for those like main broadcasting. They just didn't have,
like they were a lot more
rules.
They were a lot more risque, like back in the day.
They could be. That doesn't like not
all of them, but like many of them.
But it wasn't
when they
shocking,
wanted to be, they sure
that
were.
they were. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like tits out, like it's it's a fade to black type of thing,
So yeah, and it's part of the reason why I picked this one is because for my 12 and 12 challenge for 2011, this month I'm watching White Christmas and actually finishing it. And this is by the same author or screenwriter as White Christmas. She also wrote Age of Youth and Diary of a Prosecutor. So like, if it's sounding a little like it's too, this sounds wacky, like maybe that gives you some context for the other sorts of things that this writer writes. I think, and let me see. Oh, and the director of this is the same director as Good Doctor and Queen of Mystery and Love Alarm. So, it's not like it's earlier stuff. Obviously, this is some of their earlier works, so it's a little different. But I just remember really enjoying it. I think I plowed through it in a couple of days, so it was very watchable for me. And Lisa Young's always a good time. You know,
what I remember most from this drama was definitely his douchey goatee situation.
Mustache. I forgot about the goatee part of it. I just remember that he had a really douchey mustache, and when I looked at pictures,
porn
I was like,
stash
oh,
situation, yeah, like, ooh, but it was like perfectly like you're just like, that is the character. He's embodying this perfectly.
Yeah, and it was very clearly like. It's very scraggly too, like it's clearly real facial hair. It's not like the drawn in or the extra, like, you know,
he went method. He grew that shit himself.
So good for him. And it's available, as much as I said, you know, watching it on Drama Fever there and stuff too. It is available. It's still on Viki. It's on Kokowa. Like, it's out there. If you're in the
Kokowa has quite a few of these older dramas on there, especially the ones by like the, you know, the big, you know, the obviously the 3 companies that Kokowa, you know, is. They definitely like
they have enough that sometimes when you can't find something, you're like, why do you not have this here?
Yeah, it's like this says it's SBS. Why is this not here? Come on, what are you doing here, Kokowa? But yeah, no, I watched it on Viki. No, I didn't. I watched it on Kokowa. I was just thinking I was watching another thing on Viki, but it had the Kokowa come up before, like instead of the Viki preamble, it had the Kokowa preamble, and I was like, "Say what?" And it took me a moment to be like, "Wait, I'm in Viki, not Kokowa." My bad, but.
You've got a 2012 too, right, Sky?
So yes, I do. I have a 2012 pick. And I will preface this with, I know this isn't like a under the radar type of drama for those, like, it of course has been discussed because of the cast and it was very well known. It's just that since it was 2012, like I only started watching dramas in 2018, so I hadn't really heard of it much. So for me, whenever I finally got around to watching it this past year, I think, you know, it felt newer to me because it was under the radar for me. So, Love Rain is my pick. It does exist on Viki, so I'll go ahead and say that. I did check for the US because on MDL it says Netflix. It's not for the US, so
it used to for a really long time. So it's probably just
that's where I watched it.
MDL doesn't have the algorithm thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely watched it on Netflix because that was
I remember seeing it on the, like, you know, little icons all the time scrolling past.
I can't even remember. I don't remember if I watched it on Viki last year, probably. But yeah, I thought I'd even though I never watched it, I kind of remember seeing it around on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh well. So it is 20 episodes. Just gonna go ahead and say that, and they are kind of the longer episodes. So don't think that because it's 20 episodes they're short. They are not. Now I will say that sounds kind of long, but you visit 2 different time periods of this drama, to where you first are in a setting that's in the 70s. I don't remember how many episodes. I don't necessarily think it's half and half straight up, but it almost gets
it's
that
like
far.
4. It's 4 and 16, I think.
It gets, but it was more than I thought it was going to be. Like, I figured they were going to maybe set the scene for like 2 episodes or something. I mean, but it went pretty far. But they cover a lot of ground during that. And so then kind of the main characters that are established in the 1970s time period, then when you get to the present time storyline, those same actors are playing like the next generation, essentially. So that's kind of funny. So then the old version is like other people. Well, anyway, it's hard to explain. Depends on which character you're talking about. But Love Rain, it is I would not say it's really rom-com-y, but there's a little bit of comedy. But there is like kind of melodramatic, like lost love type thing, as far as with an older couple that, you know, you see them when they were younger and then as they're adults. I really get a kick out of seeing actors and actresses portray different characters within a drama, like in the same drama. So I always like dual role things, and so this is that. And so getting that from like 5 or 6 different actors at one time is really cool to watch. And so it's not just, oh, different outfit. No, like the characters are completely different vibes. So I think that's a really cool thing to watch. Cast wise, Jung Eun-suk, Yoona, Kim Shi-woo, Lee Mi-suk, Kwon In-ha. I mean,
it's a big cast. It's a good cast.
It's a very stacked cast. You also have... Pardon?
I think Seo is in that.
Yes, I was going to get to that one. Yeah. The fact that they didn't put him up at the top is interesting.
Well, he's such a small role, though, in it, right? I think it's his first role.
He's kind of.
How far does he come in? Is he a big role?
He's in the first section. He's in the first section for a lot, and then
sometimes they do it just by like who comes in,
not as much.
And meet,
that might be it, because, like, I mean,
or is it supposed to be secret that he's there?
Well, so that kind of maybe. I mean, as far as in the 1970s setting, they kind of have like this Three Musketeers little group of musicians, and so he's a part of that, and so you do get him singing and stuff, so that's really great, and performing with the guitar. The music is marvelous, so that's another huge bonus with this. His character in the present timeline, it is far less in that. He's a musician. The character he plays is also a musician, but he's not around quite as much. So I guess he's kind of more of a side character. It's just the way this is sorted on MDL with the cast, it's like interesting.
You never know too. MDL, you can do the Wikipedia route on it, so
yeah. Now, and I will also mention Kim Young-kwang too. So you get some of the people that have been around for quite a while, but they were rocking it. I do think it's kind of more on the mellow side of things. Definitely in the first setting that you see. You're not going to get comedy much. Now, So Eun-guk's characters are kind of the comedic part of that. He's kind of a goober in that section. But present timeline, you do get kind of more rom-com vibes more. Except for the mature couple that has a lot of heartache involved. That is the mellow vibes for them, definitely the entire time. But then kind of star-crossed lovers because of kind of the past of these families that are intertwined. I liked how all of the characters were, you know, because you're still seeing these same characters. It's not as if this is, oh, in my past life or anything. No, like it is, you still see the adult characters that you saw when they were younger in college. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I will say, if mom-in-law / mom annoying characters drive you crazy, that is an aspect of this show.
It's a big, yeah.
You know, the type that, like, I'm never going to accept your girlfriend because I'm this just way.
So every time I see a character like that, because, you know, I watch dailies and weekenders, and there's always at least one.
There's always one.
And I just, like, wonder to myself, like, is this, like, mother-in-law propaganda to, like, be like, hey, mother-in-laws, don't be this piece of shit. We're
they always get a barely there redemption arc and, like, totally forgiven. So, like, to me, like, what they're saying is, hey, daughters-in-law, all mother-in-laws are crappy. Yours isn't that bad.
Just, like stick it up through.
And also, when you see these mother-in-law types, that it's also obvious all the damage that they've caused to their typically
children, trauma, the trauma,
like, and how it even continues in the present time of whatever you're seeing. It's like, wow, this person should just not be allowed around their kids anymore.
Like, every time I see, like, a character that really embodies, like, parental trauma, like, I'm just like, I worry for this writer. Like, writer, is this a little too real, you know? Are you, do you need to talk, you know?
Now, I will say, the screenwriter for this hasn't done any writing since Love Rain.
They said what they needed to say, and they bounced.
I mean,
now they did
popular.
write Winter
Maybe they just got
Sonata.
enough money, and they're like, bye.
Yeah, if you did Love Rain and you did Winter Sonata, you're probably doing okay.
You're probably fine.
You're good.
They're like, you know what? I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna go be a woman of leisure and read some books.
I would do
The
that
director
too.
So the director directed Winter Sonata, and then did a few, and then did Love Rain, and then they did a movie in 2017, and then bounced. Hasn't done anything since. So
They've said enough. They've said enough. They're just like, I put my opus out there. It was insanely popular. I made my bag. I'm gonna go enjoy my life.
Over quantity.
I will say these people are older, so like they look like they're in their 60s now.
So
like,
they could also be they could also be dead. That's possible, but we're maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe they do other things. They're producing or something now. We don't.
Yeah, that's possible.
So I will also give the warning that the present timeline male lead character is the frustrating push-pull kind of douchey guy for a part of it. He does, gets that redemption arc, I guess. You know how that
There's
goes.
some really beautiful. What I really remember about it is like the diamond snow scene close to the beginning of the modern section, and just how pretty the cinematography in this movie could be. Like in some of the
it was
in
gorgeous.
this drama is really pretty at times.
So what I enjoy about that, so like there's this beautiful cinematography with all this snow and all this stuff, and it's hyper romantic during that moment. They are very enemies during that time period.
Yeah.
Like they hate each other's guts, and they keep like screwing each other over. Like pretty much they're stranded, and they just keep not helping each other, and it's just so frustrating. But like it's funny, but that's why it's so funny, because it's juxtaposed with like, this is gorgeous, and if you guys would just even be friends, this would be a better moment in time.
Right? The cinematographer was putting their whole camera ussy into it, and that just makes it better.
It really did. But I thought there was a lot of chemistry between the leads. Even like the second lead was very charming. I really just enjoyed a lot of it. The music was great. But it is kind of that older push-pull stuff. But because the reality is, if you started watching like K-dramas specifically just in the last couple of years, it is possible that you haven't experienced how push-pull some of these romance stories can go.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that none of these exist during this time period. It's just as far as the really popular ones right now don't necessarily always have this
heightened
they was
push
really
pull
kind
for
of
many
down.
episodes.
Yeah.
Like most of the show. As far as even if there's rings involved, or even if there's commitment involved, you're still push pulling. You're still you're never really quite settled, right? So but I really enjoyed Love Rain. It pretty much blew me away. So cinematography, music, cast, the acting was impeccable. As far as, again, you got to see in the 1970s timeline with like super mellow vibes because, lost love, all this stuff. And then, so like it did feel like kind of a masterpiece because it did cover a lot of ground, I suppose. And that time period stuff they did so well with time period outfits and scenery and things like that.
Even the even the lighting and the filters that they used for the 70s stuff, like you felt kind of like you're watching something that was filmed in the 70s, like you were watching an old show. And I thought that was really cool. I love it when
they put that like element of cleverness.
And I guess also something that people might have not run across a lot yet. It depends on what shows you have watched, especially if you're an international watcher, which you probably are because you're listening to us in English.
But if you're not, that's fine too. We don't care.
If you're actually Korean,
and you're listening to us to try to learn English, we're sorry.
Might not.
Our bad. Yes.
What I wanted to say was that 1970s timeline story stuff, it involves like historical, like as far as there was a lot of unrest and arrests and things that were portrayed, so like very heartbreaking stuff. So that was definitely an aspect of that. So if that's something you maybe don't really dig or want to avoid, but I thought it was kind of educational, but it wasn't a huge focus, but it definitely affected the characters. Some of the characters were involved in these things. So know that that's a thing. It's not just, yay, 1970s were cute. It's like things were going on. It was difficult.
I think sometimes if you're only into watching the modern Korean stuff, like Korea looks and feels very similar to any other country these days. And it's sometimes we forget that like it was really very recently that they've been able to be their own country again and do things the way they want to do them. So I think sometimes watching something like Love Rain or, you know, some of those other dramas that do the back and forth through time like that help give you a better perspective of where Korea has come from more recently.
So you kind of get like a mini historical drama within this drama, but I really, really recommend it. Like I said, Vicky, I blew through it quick. I wish I could remember exactly, but I feel like I planted and watched this within a day or two.
I feel like you did that, yeah.
And you know, I just want to tell you guys, Sky really likes Love Rain. she bought the special edition OST. She's a Love Rain fan. She really wants you to watch Love Rain.
I really, really do. And if you can also go on our YouTube channel. Hey, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you can go on our YouTube channel because when we did show and tell at one point, I showed off my really cool OST because it's a photo book and it's really pretty. It is really pretty. Also, what's kind of fun, super asterisk side note to this before I shut up. It's fun to see because the main dude character in the present timeline is a fashion photographer, so you get all the like dated fun
fashions of the time. Ooh.
Like, heck, I liked his hair so much. Like, that's the hairstyle I try to go for these days. Like, I love Love Rain, guys. Like, I really can't emphasize it. I definitely will rewatch it at some point, probably, despite the fact it's 20 episodes. But like, yeah,
they're 20 episodes well spent.
I agree.
And in general, it is a very warm drama, in my opinion. Even with the push-pull, it's still pretty warm. And it happy ending. Spoiler, there's a happy ending. It's one of those. So, Jessie!
So first I'm going to do a caveat on mine. I really wanted to pick a non-Korean option for this. And I
Which
picked,
you could have.
Well, I did. Here's the thing. I picked it and I was like, oh man, this is going to be so great. I watched it on Viki. Perfect. Wonderful. It's not on Viki anymore, but I'm still going to suggest it because I'm going to stop myself from doing, I always do this thing where like, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it because it's not available. I'm not doing that anymore. I've decided.
Well, and it could be available again very soon.
It's very
we don't know.
Like, Viki could
we can all write into Viki and be like, hey, yo, get this back.
I mean, like, it's true. I don't know when they took it off. Like, I feel like I just watched it, but it's probably COVID. It probably was like a very long time.
Well, then these years have all just blended into the last 3 years
messy.
have all been 1 year.
I don't even know where I am right now. Like, honestly, what's going on? But it is the J drama called Pretty Proofreader. It's a 2016 drama. It stars the very wonderful and amazing and actress that everybody knows, Ishihara Satomi. It is a really cute drama about a girl who is very into fashion. She loves it. It's her thing. It's what she wants to do in life is to be a fashion editor. So it's like her like extreme dream. And so she ends up getting a job at one of her like favorite like magazines. Like she reads it, she like the Bible, it's everything that she wants. But she ends up not being in a position that she thought she would. She ends up kind of down in the basement in the proofreading department, where nobody cares about fashion and everybody's very like, you know, nerdy and doesn't care about any of that, and they're just there to proofread everything. So it kind of goes on her journey of being a proofreader down in this like department where she completely stands out because she's always, you know, in her best dress, and her kind of developing relationships with each of the characters and each of the stories that they cover too, because it's got a kind of like episodic way of telling it, where like each episode they kind of, or like one or two episodes, they focus on a different person who they're like writing about, and she kind of goes and figures out more about them and their like life, and she like it's a very genuine person. She's got kind of the Elle Woods kind of character vibe to her, where, you know, on the outside she might seem, you know, just
ditzy.
Ditzy into all of her clothing being like perfect and all this stuff, but she's genuinely sweet and kind, and she never looks down on the people who don't do that sort of thing. It's just like more of like a culture shock almost type situation for her because of where she is, and because of course she had, you know, all these like hopes and dreams of becoming like a fashion editor. So when she gets to this job and she finds out she's not really where the fashion is, she's kind of like doing more like lifestyle articles, that sort of thing. So it follows that and follows her kind of growing in her character and growing the relationships with the people down there, and also kind of getting to know them and getting them to know her and like know each other too, because they kind of don't have like the connections, like because they kind of like shut themselves off and kind of like do their job and then, you know, go away or go, you know, home for the day. And so she kind of really fosters like more of like the work found family in it, and it's just sweet and has a bit of romance.
If you say found family, Jesse says, "Heyo!" as
throw in a workplace drama family. And a Japanese drama. I mean, come on.
Say less. You know,
there was no way that this show wasn't going to be good for me. I know it dropped when they put it on Viki. It wasn't 2016 when I watched it. It was, you know, fairly like during this podcast time. So it wasn't like a new thing for me, or it wasn't a new thing like a airing drama situation.
Man, I could have almost guaranteed it was just the past couple of years. Like you watched it, and that's what Amanda watched it
2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. And I feel like it was on for a while. Like,
okay, I just like searching it. I don't know how legit this site is, but it mentions a lot of different stuff. Billy TV just dropped all the episodes in August, so it sounds like
could have been that it bought the rights.
You know, the end of Viki's rights,
but I don't know. So they might be actually like more of like a YouTube type place.
Yeah, I think
they are. Sort of like Southeast Asia's leading anime, comics, and games community. But I don't know how legit it is. Sorry if I'm outing somebody, you know, where you're not. But the fact that they just dropped all their, like, if you search it, all the episodes show up in August of 2022. And it's like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds super cute.
It also has like
good.
It's, I mean, like it's so, like she has what, like if you liked what Elle Woods was and how sweet and kind she was, despite everything, it was very for the underdog, even though she looked like the popular girl who never would. She is that in this show. Like it just, it's very sweet and heartwarming, especially like some of the things that when she goes out to like talk to the people who she's like, doing the like editing for their like articles and stuff, like I mean she's really connecting with the people, and sometimes they have like a bit of a harder like storyline or something, and she really like takes the time to genuinely like figure them out so that she can edit the best that she can, like and proofread the best that she can. So, like she really like starts to really kind of develop a love for her job that way too. So you see that like where she's like developing a love for this job that was never her, like, dream job. And she always thought she wanted to
Yeah.
be this fashion editor, but really she's finding that she's good at this proofreading thing because she's able to get more out of, the people and clients that she's working for. And it really is. I like blew through it. I loved every second of it. I mean, like, honestly,
Is it like the quintessential like J drama office drama thing? Like an example of like, this is how good J dramas do office dramas?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, like, also, like, Ishihara Satomi is always great in her roles, too. She's the girl from 9 to 5 or 5 to 9 or whatever it is, She's, like, well-known, too. So maybe this isn't as drama gemmy as possible, but...
Sure it is.
I think it is, especially within a primarily Korean drama watching audience. I really do, like, if you can get your hands on this, which you might be able to find it elsewhere too. It does say that like WeTV had it at one point, so if you're in a country that like, or even
and in some places, I think in the Netflix if you're in the Philippines,
Netflix probably has it. Yeah, it does.
And Apple TV has it some places.
Has it, but I think it's like one of the subscription things, not actual Prime. You know how you can get add-on subscriptions on Prime? I think that's what it is. It also has kind of like a, the Noonas storyline with it as well. But yeah, it's just really sweet. Like you just like watching, you're like very like, it makes you like warm and fuzzy inside, and you're just like, this is just nice, and everybody's so quirky because they're all just like nerds down here in the basement, and then she's kind of like the ray of sunshine that comes in and tries to get them to like open up, but like also growing her character too, and growing like in ways that she wasn't even trying to or expecting to, and it's very like kind of genuine in it too. She's not like forceful in a way, like any type of way, and that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed it, and it seems like the MDL comments really feel the same way. So
good.
I feel like it's, as J-dramas go, like if you're a big K-drama watcher and you've never watched a J-drama before, this is a really good like bridge for that, because sometimes J-dramas have a really, really different feel to them.
Yes.
And this one definitely feels like a J-drama, but it feels like it's very accessible to the K-drama watcher.
I do agree. Like
not
especially sometimes you can get like kind of, weird is not the word that I want to say, but like it's like odd, like it's like almost like supernatural, but not being supernatural. Like it's very anime, most of these things are from manga, so like it's gonna come across in the television version. But yeah, it does have that kind of same work drama, like just like a little bit lighter comedy, rom-com-y, like K-drama vibe to it. And it's got the love triangles that everybody really loves. I don't care about that, but it's there.
Like, if that's what you're into, whatever. Like I guess that's there as well.
To talk about like one of the characters, like when he's proofreading, if like he's reading something that has like, so say he's like proofreading a book, and the book goes through like a building, so like the character in the book talks about being in the living room and the blah 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 and the blah blah blah. He goes and he builds like a model of it, so he's always like building models of it to make sure that he can go through when he's like reading the book and proofreading it, he can go into each room to make sure that like if they say a direction or something, it's correct because it's plotted out like how it's supposed to be and stuff. And it's quirky in that way, like where everybody has a little thing that they do.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
But definitely check it out if you can. I like it's like I think about it and I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. I could probably watch it again, honestly. And I don't do that for many dramas.
Same. Like just talking about it now, I'm like, oh, I want to rewatch it.
I kind of want to go watch it.
Especially now that it's not on Viki, I'm like, I really want to watch it.
You don't know what you've got till it's gone, as they always say.
Also, it's not like it's an ancient drama. Like,
no.
Why?
And it's like very like it has a popular actress. Like everybody loves her. I don't. I don't know.
Well, I went and filled out a please bring this back form.
Please do that. Oh, a lot of people like Last Cinderella. It's a little harem drama, it's an older woman, younger men.
Noonas harem.
She has multiple men.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a fun. It's
drama. Actually really good. I liked it a lot. She's like a hairdresser or something, but that's from 2013 if you want to watch something. But yeah, so she's done a lot of that.
That's also a good one. So this is, Drama Gems episodes are a little more concise than our usual episodes, but we hope that you enjoyed listening to it anyway, and perhaps you have some ideas for some dramas you want to go check out. Please do, because they get the thumbs up approval from the Noonas. Well, from each individual Noona who listen, I don't need to go into detail. You understand what we're saying. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to us. And as Sky mentioned at the beginning, if you are a Patreon supporter, a member of our found family over on patreon.com/certified Noonas, there's going to be a second episode where we have a little short episode of maybe something else we recommend. A secondary drama gems. You want some more drama picks? You want to hear us talk about more stuff, more gems? Well, you got to get on into the found family. There are found family on the web. They rock. They get special Discord badges, and on our Discord, which you should also join. You don't have to be a member of the found family to join it. It's open to everyone as long as you're cool and not a douche. You can enjoy the Discord and you won't get banned. I promise. As long as you're not, as long as you're not posting shit, we're cool energy, good vibes. Anyway, if you want to listen to our podcast, you can find it wherever podcasts can be found, but we also put all of our episodes over on our YouTube channel where we do pretty much weekly live streams as well, so you should go subscribe to that. Free to subscribe on YouTube, maybe click the bell, you get little notifications, as I say, and also to our website certifiednoonas.com, where if you want time codes and links to the stuff we're talking about, that's where you got to go. certifiednews.com has every single episode with time codes and links, baby. Anyway, thank you for listening. We hope you have a fantastic week, and as we always say, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.